Almost got started, and thank you everybody for making that happen. Uh, for those of you on screen, we've got people who've driven an hour and a half to get up here from Shreveport, um, and appreciate them making the effort. We've got Leanne. You might want to focus on Leanne for a moment. Leanne is the person who's going to be doing our sound baths later on.
Does that get you
She's
in there?
also our
Yeah.
massage therapist, and yeah, she's a shit. Everybody in this room, you wouldn't be here if you weren't.
That's
So
right.
don't expect to be called out individually. It's just a collective sort of thing we're doing.
Yeah.
So, we're doing a retreat this weekend, and the focus of the retreat is going to be on energy. Surprise, surprise. Um, those of you who don't know my teaching, I teach that energy is God, period. When you look at what God is supposed to be, the source of our being, the source of all being, the ground of all our being, well, there's only one thing that everything that is shares in common, and that's energy. Okay? Now, we used to think that matter also existed, but there's no such thing as matter. As science has worked, we've gone deeper and deeper. We find at the core of what we thought was solid is simply vibrating strings, vibrating energy, to strings of energy. So when we study energy, when we study spirit, we're really studying what energy does. And I didn't wear my yin and yang, my Tao, but if you tear the yin and yang on its side, and where they interface, what you have is a sine wave. And that's a picture of God's face. Everything is going up and down, open, close, hot, cold. Okay? So when that energy hits our senses, it becomes sensible. We know God first and primarily through our senses. Probably never thought of that. So when the energy hits your eyes and it becomes red, that's your experience of energy. When you hear it as sound, that's your experience of God. So as we begin to tune in to our senses in meditation and in yoga and all the things we're going to practice today, we're connecting more fully. Now, in the East, what they've done is they went inward. We stayed outward, and now that we're starting to go inward, science has discovered that you have 16 inner senses. Okay, so what are some of those inner senses? Well, your sense of balance, your vestibular sense, okay, your sense of your internal organs functioning, which is interoception, your sense of your body, which you develop through yoga, you develop the balance, these are internal senses. There's mechanoception, of the movement of your joints. We've also discovered through the fascia, and it's beautiful, that everything that we ignored is where everything is happening. So we've looked at all the organs, but we never look at what connected them, all that gooey stuff that you pull off your steak, don't want to eat, doesn't chew. Well, that's what carries the energy in your body. So that literally light comes in through your optic nerves, goes into your vagus nerve, and gets transported from the vagus nerve through your fascia and lights your body up. Now, what you're going to discover is the energy channels are already there. You don't have to create them. Thank you, Jesus. Okay? Of course they're there because something had to carry the energy to nourish your body. So what is the mechanism? It's the fascia. So we couldn't identify where acupuncture points were. So we said they couldn't work. There's no mechanical system that handles that. That's because we weren't looking at the fascia. Now we can begin to see how that energy is transported. So today we're going to tie in with this group. We were talking about compassion last week. We were talking about what's going on in Minnesota. How do we respond to this? And Jeremy asked a question about what do we do, like if we're in an AA meeting or something, someone's crying. What do we do when someone's going through some obviously heavy emotion? And I started talking about compassion as opposed to caretaking, and I think I got some people upset with me when I said most of what we do is not genuine compassion, it's actually caretaking, and it's actually not healthy. And I'm assuming that I'm in a room full of people that fit that category of we are the caretakers. And what happens to us as caretakers in terms of our energy. So today is going to be designed to fill you up, okay? Because most of the people who are caretakers leak energy. We can sit and feel connected and leak energy to people we know are in trouble and not have any particular effect on them. So let me explain what I mean. I found this reading on empaths. The empath / highly sensitive person, am I talking to anybody in the room? Okay. You were weird because you sense things other people didn't sense. You were impacted by things emotionally that didn't upset other people. People told you were weird, you needed to toughen up. You learned to ignore those parts of yourself because you didn't want to be seen as weak, right? Highly sensitive people spend the first half of their life mastering compassion, but painfully learn the dangers and the cost of overgiving. Eventually comes the realization that compassion without boundaries is self-betrayal. Okay, hear that. Compassion without boundaries is self-betrayal. The second half of life is about taking your power back and coming home to yourself. The empath by default sees the good in everyone, even in those who've already shown their darkness. This is their gift and their greatest downfall. Their deepest compassion and empathy allow them to understand the reasons behind someone's actions, to see the pain beneath the behavior, to see the potential in other people. Right? But that same understanding often makes them excuse what should never be excused, giving third, fourth, and 10th chances to those who've already revealed their true nature. Sometimes seeing the light in others blinds them to the truth in front of them. Beside compassion, there's one important aspect that they're meant to master, discernment. Through the pain of ignoring red flags, the empath eventually awakens. They start to see beyond the illusion, to read patterns and to understand the hidden motives behind words and behavior. They've always sensed subtle shifts in energy and subtle changes in tones and words. They just never learned to fully listen, to listen without judgment. But once they do, their inner navigation system comes online and they start to build self-trust and eventually become a living, breathing truth detector. The compassion we've been taught, the one defined in the dictionary, means that we want to fix, save, or take on someone else's pain. The original meaning literally says to suffer with someone. But that's not what we mean by true compassion in spirituality. The world has mistaken dropping into another's suffering for healing. We've confused compassion with absorption. We've given too much of ourself, and that's not the way you let go of self. Okay, that's the way what's most fundamental in you disappears. Okay? When we sink into another's pain, take it on, we lose ourselves in the anchor that they need. Healing doesn't happen by suffering with someone, but standing beside them. We're co-regulating now at this place because we're holding a space for each other, not to get into each other's pain, not to fix each other's pain, but to provide a safe, sacred space which will naturally allow your body to release. This is the new healing coming out of polyvagal theory. We don't talk to people. We don't get into their pain. We don't write to your abuser. We don't do a long talk about things, or we simply give you space. We nourish you. Boom. Healing natural happens. I learned it first in therapy, studying Adlerian therapy in Chicago, as sugar in, shit out. The first thing you do is you hug your clients, you nourish them, you give them what they didn't get as children. And what happens next? You put sugar water in the front end of the baby, what comes out the back? You don't go home from the hospital till that happens, right? So all of you need to know that you don't have to create that healing mechanism. It's that we haven't found the environment, we haven't found the safe people that say to our bodies and to our egos that we can let go. So surrender is a very different thing from having your ego broken or having it sucked dry. So Brene Brown, anybody know Brene Brown? I mean, she's the one who did Dare Greatly, right? And to live, to be authentic. Okay? Did a dictionary on the emotion. And this is from a guy, I pulled it off the internet. Brown, who's famous for preaching vulnerability, dropped the truth on her followers they weren't ready for. She said the most compassionate people that she studied were the ones who had the firmest boundaries. I'll say that again. The most compassionate people had the firmest boundaries. Giving without limits is not love. It's a transaction where you trade pieces of yourself for approval that you never receive. Let that land. Let that land. You trade pieces of yourself. And why do we do it? For an approval that we never got from our parents and the important people in our lives that we're seeking, and we never get it. Endless givers think they're generous, but they're really terrified of rejection, terrified of abandonment, terrified of being seen as selfish. Can I get an amen? And that's where ego comes in, all right? Every gift is a down payment on acceptance. Every favor buys another moment of being needed. This isn't kindness, and I love this line. It's a survival strategy disguised as a virtue. A survival strategy disguised as a virtue. Brown's research revealed a pattern. Boundaryless givers end up depleted, resentful. God damn it. When is it my turn? All I do for you. And what do I get in return? Not a goddamn thing. Okay. I'm sure none of you in this room has ever said that to your loved ones, have you? I just want to be appreciated. Is that too much to ask? Come on, folks. Brown's research, okay. Where I got lost here. Brown's research revealed the pattern. Boundaryless givers end up depleted, resentful, and broke. I literally buried a woman. Her daughter was an alcoholic, married to an alcoholic. Both of them had jobs, but they took money from her. And she ended up losing her condo, moving into public housing, and just continued to go down the tubes emotionally because she couldn't cut them off. Okay, that's the worst case scenario. The world doesn't appreciate. Okay, boundless givers end up depleted. They give until they're empty, then wonder why the world takes without thanks. The world doesn't respect what comes too easy. Neither do the people you're trying to save. Takers recognize givers instantly. They orbit them like predators. Your generosity is their resource. They'll drain you dry and call it your choice because technically it was. You handed yourself over and called it love. One camp keeps giving without limits and wonders why they feel hollow and used, financially stuck despite their good heart. The other learns the brutal truth. Real generosity requires self-worth, requires learning to protect yourself first. People say, why should I do that? Folks, you're an embodiment of the Holy Spirit. That's the source of your worth. Your worth isn't how you look, it isn't what you have, it isn't what you've done. None of that shit matters. The only thing that matters is each and every one of us is made of the same sacred energy. Okay? Now, this embodiment is what we are, one of our primary things to protect, the first thing to protect. There's an archangel devoted to protecting your spirit from transgressions. Who knows who it is? Michael, okay, with the sword. Put there, what's the first thing parents take away from their children? Don't you talk to me like that. You're getting too big for you. You go to your room right now, okay? The first thing, when you tell your truth and say, stop, you're hurting me, what happened? You got hurt. So it's like a dog with a shock collar. You put up a perimeter, the shock collar hit, bam, dog gets shot. Eventually, dog won't go near that perimeter. You can take the perimeter around, take the collar off, dog didn't do it. Every one of us in this room has been taught not to protect your spirit, to allow anybody to walk in, take what they want, treat you any way, and you will allow it because what am I looking for? Your approval. I'm looking for connection. If the connection has to happen in those terms, it's not worth it. It's not an authentic connection. The connection exists. It's a reality, okay? If we were to look at this room energetically, we'd be caught in an interdependent web of being, wouldn't we? There would be no separation. There's not a separate self in this room except in our heads. So what we're doing today, we constructed the ego to defend against the world, okay? And we built a wall. What that wall does is it kills your inner light, okay? But we think we're safe. But what we did was construct the very thing that's killing us. So what we're going to learn collectively today, and we're going to do a little bit of the beginning of this in this meditation, is to begin to use your energy as a semi-permeable membrane. Can I say semi-permeable? Are we allowed to still say that? Okay. Semi-permeable sounds a little dirty. Maybe it's just my mind. So here we are. A membrane of a cell protects the cell, right? So it's got a defense, but it also allows nutrients to come in, and it allows other things to pass out that need to pass out. So what we're going to begin to focus on today, most of us, when I first got into therapy, they so what makes you feel good? Oh, I love taking care of people. So what happens to your energy? Oh, I get energy taking care of people. No, you get dopamine. So yeah, dopamine's energy. So you get a little hit of speed, you feel good. Doesn't last very long, okay? But you also get a nice little hit of cortisol and adrenaline and some other things because you're scared. Now, people are going to say to me, I thought I was being a good person. I thought I was being a good person. This is where neuroscience has got an edge on us, okay? Because they can see when you give out of compulsion, out of necessity, out of fear of saying no, what part of your brain do you think you're in? You're in your amygdala, your fear center. It's lit up, okay? You can't get to compassion when you're in fight or flight, okay? So it doesn't matter what you think you're doing, okay? You can say, I'm doing good. Yeah, you're doing good. A lot of good for the person out there. But the self-betrayal is you're actually giving away part of your energy. Energy is your spirit, okay? In yoga, the 8 limbs of yoga, the first 2 branches are the
yamas and niyamas.
And one of them is brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is the conservation of energy, okay? Conservation. So what we're going to do today is to attune you to taking in energy, to feel energy, to feel it accumulate in your body, and then begin to feel that energy moving out, okay? So on the inhale, when we inhale, we're going to be taking in energy, prana. Prana is life force energy. It is a nutrient. Did you ever think of your breath as a nutrient? It changes the way you experience it when you experience it as a nutrient. So I can breathe like that. Can you see the hair stand up on my arm? Okay. You know why it's standing up? Because it's hitting my senses. Okay. You got those little receptors in your hair. And so that's the thrill that this energy can have when you fully receive it, when you allow it to land, you allow it to hit your body. Just lights you up. So then we're going to go into where does your energy collect, because we collect it differently. Some of us collect it in our heart. Some of us collect it in our gut. Some of us collect it up here, 3 major centers. I just learned this, Andy, about what the 7th star is. So it's really 7 stars in Tai Chi in a big W, and uh, the so you got a W with 4 points here, 3 points here, going in. These 3 points are upper Dantian, middle Dantian, lower Dantian in the Chinese system. So where are you accumulating energy? Can you feel it in your body? Can you feel it fill up? So what are we looking for in spirituality? Fulfillment. I'm looking to be filled full. We weren't made for bread alone. We're going to receive our manna. What is our manna? It's your daily energy. We're going to take it freely like a tree. A tree doesn't go, oh, could I have a little carbon dioxide today and maybe a little sunlight? And could I please have moisture? And if it's not asking too much, maybe a little bit. Of course, you know, being a people pleaser and caretaker, we don't ask for anything. But the point is you can take it without asking. You're in this energy field. You're of this energy field. You don't have to deserve it. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to ask for it. You simply open up and receive it. The energy's there for you to take. Make it sense? Okay, so here we are. We're pulling out. Now, on the exhale, again, the rhythm. Fill, empty, up, down, hot, cold, boom, boom, boom. All the same system. You can't separate it. You can't say, this is good, this is bad. Inhaling is good, exhaling is good too. Okay. So now we're going to exhale. What happens to the energy on the exhale? Moves out. So I started doing energy healing because my hands would feel like catcher's mitt at the end of my week. And I said, I know you can do something with this, right? So I got a Reiki master to train me. Hands on, energy out. It's going to move out through your skin. Now we release an energy, a yummy energy called Ojas. Ojas is what you mean when a pregnant woman has that glow, or when you're in love and you see a person who's just radiating that golden energy. We're going to take that energy and feel it around our bodies, surrounding us, radiating out. That's your protection. That's your protection. And when you begin to tune into that, it allows you to sit in this cocoon of safety. Is safety important to healing? Absolutely essential to healing. No healing till you relax. Relax, mind open, body soft, heart open. The minute something comes in from the outside that's potentially threatening, then I defend. Then I'm like the Batmobile. Shut her down. Happens in a half a second. So we're trusting the wrong thing. We're trying to get to safety through your head.
Green is frozen, it looks like. There's no sound.
Yeah, I don't know if that's everybody or just me.
I think it's everybody.
Yeah,
It is everybody.
Mine is frozen too.
Well, I think
there is sound among us if you
Yeah,
unmute.
it's
Mhm.
it's just Linnell and Bart. They're the
Yeah,
ones who
mine's
froze.
not frozen.
No, it's just Linnell and Bart. And she warned us that they might have a circuit breaker
Uh-huh.
problem or something, and that she'd be on the lookout for it. So let's hope she is. Let's hope they realize what's happening. Um, but they're the ones who are
Yeah.
frozen.
I sent her a text.
Tom, would they be able to hear us talking?
No, I don't think so.
Mhm.
They're offline now. At least they're not showing up on my chart, so they might be trying to sign back in.
Yes, I think that's right. I think they've disconnected. And that I think they'll realize, because they'll see that they're not on the screen anymore. In fact, they may have lost their screen altogether if if they tripped a circuit breaker, then their computer
Mhm.
probably glitched. So they'll be back soon. I don't think it'll take long to reset the breaker and then get back.
I think it'd be interesting if we did some sharing about what Bart had been talking about so far. If anybody wants to, he said some really poignant things that have really touched my heart. And I'm just wondering if anybody would like to share anything. I saw some people, it looks like you are rapidly taking some notes also. But I'd love to hear what people are picking up from what Bart has said so far.
What I had learned, I've had to watch for since I've become totally disillusioned with the caretaking thing, is when something occurs that legitimately perhaps I could offer someone at least some encouragement and support. I just tend to withdraw into indifference because I'm just so weary of help me. When I know it's like when someone is drowning and you go to help them, what do? They wrap their arms around your neck and both of you drown.
Well, to me, caretaking really is a matter of expression of love. It's your expression of love. It's you're giving your energy and your feeling of love to the person you're doing care for. And it's whether I'm helping people with their technology, or it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't sap energy, it gives me energy.
To add to that, Tom, and also kind of saying something to Agnew, one of the things that when we look at the word caretaking, it means that we think that somebody is deficient and we can fix that. And I think we have to go back to when we're supporting another person. And notice that language, we're not trying to fix them, we're not trying to make them better. What we're doing is we're trying to support their own personal growth. And that has to come through an overflow of self-care first. Because if you don't have the energy, and if you're not centered in this place of that big S self, then you do deplete. And I think
Yes.
that's where Bart was really going with this discussion, is we're trying to find fulfillment by getting filled up from something we do, but what we have to be is filling here first and then let it overflow. And I think that's a challenge sometimes, because I think our society teaches us to caretake, but we have to realize nobody's really deficient. They're all on the path, but they're in a path that may not have an awareness about this part of their lifestyle or their karma or whatever it is.
Right.
Yes.
Conversation is really speaking to me. I've been in a caretaking, codependent relationship with my mother for most of my adult life, most of my life, for a variety of reasons. And there was a period in my life about 25 years ago where I felt like I had really made some progress away from that. And then recently, for a variety of reasons, I am very much back into that cycle with my mom, the caretaking and then the resentment. It was kind of interesting. Just 2 days ago, I took a really big step and said no to her, something that she had, asked. And spent a lot of time that evening just really recognizing like the emotions I was going through. Like as soon as I said no, it's like, oh my God, the guilt. And yeah, it was pretty intense. But I did say no. I did like put up my boundary.
I think family's the hardest. I think we can do it a lot easier outside, but
Yes.
And to reinforce what
everyone.
Hansa was
Oh, they're
saying,
back.
We're
And
here.
what Bart was
Oh, you're
saying,
back.
saying no
Okay.
means
So we're
conserving your
going here.
own
We've already got
energy.
people
Yes.
started, Tommy. We're
Yeah.
already in the middle of our meditation. So get your posture, begin your breathing.
All right.
Ah,
Got it. Can you see us?
A little bit. You're little.
All right. Good.
And pay attention to the sensations that emerge. Allowing your awareness to experience the sensations and energy, literally becoming sensible. Feeling the sensations in nostrils,
ah.
sinuses, back of the throat, into the lungs. Tuning yourself to the energy, the prana, as nourishing the body, which it is. It's carrying oxygen, which is essential to life of every cell.
They're on their phone
Awareness
because of the vertical.
entering deeper into the body.
What are you doing, Manel?
Feeling that energy pool. Where does it pool? Where does it gather? You feel it nourishing your heart, abdomen, head, just bringing your awareness to receiving that energy with gratitude. Full awareness. Follow the out breath with your awareness. Feel release of that energy. Where does the energy go from the center? Does it move out through your hands, your feet? Does it move out through the top of your head? Does it move out to one of your energy centers? Now, bring your awareness back, zooming out a little bit, feeling the whole breath, the continual flow. Perhaps noticing with the inhale that you inhale energy not only through your nose, but there's a feeling of energy being drawn in through your entire body, the whole body, like when you lay in the sunlight, you absorb the sun, feel the flow of the winter air. That's energy too. Sunlight's a nourishment. The energy of plants is nourishment, negative ions. The whole body attuned to being nourished, filled, the pressure building, and then the release. Shoo, how. And as it flows out, become aware of the energy moving out and forming an aura around your body, vibrant energy. Surrounding and protecting you. Unity prayer protection says, feel the love of God enfold you, feel the energy embracing you, supporting you through the floor. Be aware, not only does it nourish you, it protects you. Power of God protecting me. And experience the truth that this energy is awareness. It's aware of itself. That's how you're aware of it. It's the same awareness. And this energy protecting me, nourishing me, watching over me. The difference between awareness and consciousness is that awareness exists even when you're not conscious. What wakes you up when the baby cries differently, or there's a sound, the alarm rings. Awareness is always alert, always there. And know that this energy, the energy of awareness, of alertness, it's self-protective. That's what the warrior energy is. And it's different from the guardian. So you can begin to let the guardian relax, let the warrior take over. And feeling this safety, this embrace, this nourishment, just let go. all the anxieties, all the griefs, the frustrations. Just let that energy go, releasing beyond the aura at the source of your thoughts, at the edge of your body. Just release into the space outside. Just with each breath and each exhale, clearing yourself, all shame, just breathing it out, releasing it, softening the belly, the body becoming soft, permeable, receptive. The mind can relax, nothing to protect, you're safe. Monkey mind, got nothing to do, let go of trying to understand. Mind open, spacious, everything floating, drifting of its own impermanence. Feel the steadfastness of awareness, not disturbed by any thought, any emotion or sensation arises, allowing it to release into the vastness of awareness. As the body calms, as the mind stills, finally we're ready to open the heart. You can cry and let your glory shine from your heart, what Jesus talked about. Let your light so shine, your light that you're shining, people, not fixing. Simply shine. Feel that awareness releasing from your heart. The light is embodied in you. Opening it freely to the world, not worrying about whether it deserves it, whether you're going to be harmed. I open my heart to the world. Letting my light shine in the darkness. Soft, receptive, full, and feeling that sharing coming out of the fullness, not out of the emptiness, not giving to receive, but having received. Gratefully giving like a nursing mother, breasts are engorged. Please take this, take this. Painful not to share this love, this joy, this peace.
Do it, but I need you on the screen. No. There you go. So just slowly bring yourselves up.
Okay, we got people muted.
Recording in progress.
All righty.
Thanks,
So,
everybody, for
Sorry for our technical problem.
you have an echo.
somebody,
I don't think you disconnected your phone.
Okay, take your phone off.
It's because you have your phone and your computer, Linnell.
We're taking it off.
You still have two devices on.
okay,
And I was